I started learning about digital marketing, but ended up building full stack apps. And this is how I did it. In 2020, I moved to France with my wife, and at this time, I was confident in my skills and my background in marketing and sales. But I didn't speak the language here. I didn't speak any French at all, and I was unemployed, trying to figure out my next step. So I started learning about digital marketing. I was hoping to learn the skill that could lead me to my next job. And today I'm working as a self-taught developer. This is how I did it. I studied international relations in the university, and during this time I had some relatively good part-time jobs in sales and marketing. I ended up working for one of the largest computer companies in the world, which is something to me. I thought I would build my career around marketing. I just felt natural. I was just going to work in the area that I had experience in, which was a no-brainer. So I started with digital marketing. I learned about SEO, content analytics, trying to understand how the ranking worked, how these websites would perform. While learning SEO, I kept seeing these tags mentioned in the sources that I studied from. These tags made me want to learn HTML in order to understand digital marketing better, and this curiosity actually changed everything for me. I started looking into HTML, just the basics, how a website is structured, how these tags worked, and then I found CSS and then JavaScript, and just like that, I fell down the rabbit hole. I was fascinated. I was fascinated by the ability to create something, some app, some website that could help somebody in some way or make their lives easier. It was really fascinating. I still find it fascinating. And I thought about this process as me creating these like tiny robots that would just go into the world to help somebody. It did not start as fancy as I just described it as. My first project, for which I followed a tutorial, was a landing page, which wasn't that hard. At this point, I'm following a tutorial. I'm styling buttons, entering divs, and I wanted to make it mine. So I added some features myself, and somehow managed to break things, and I fixed them myself, which was the most important lesson I got. You can fix everything, right? Then for the other projects, I added JavaScript, and JavaScript was the fun part for me because I could do animations, interactivity, validations, all that fun stuff. And I was just, the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. So I'm at this point I'm really excited, and I don't think I was still thinking about this as a skill that could land me a job. Once I had the basics, I started building real projects, and I think at this point I started realizing that I could actually get a job doing this. I could do this for somebody else, and they would pay me for it, which was very exciting. I learned version control with Git and put my code in GitHub, and I started looking into web frameworks such as React, Vue, and Angular. Until this point, until this point, I need to tell you that mostly still following tutorials. I'm not doing anything new. I'm adding a couple of features by myself, but it's really not much. And I did not think that I would be hired doing these. Nobody's going to really hire you to create a really fancy to-do list, right? You might think that it's dumb, but I didn't want to start freelancing. I saw it as a waste of time because my logic was that I could be, I don't know, learning some advanced React or get better at Python. I don't know, create some other way to create an API or document an API. There were so many things I still had to learn, and I didn't feel confident just leaving those and then moving towards looking for jobs that would not really cover anything. there was no learning opportunity in the projects. I still went to these freelancing websites and I still saw the jobs posted, and these are the jobs that people need, like real life problems, real life issues that people need solving. I made an e-commerce website template with React and GraphCMS with a really cool admin dashboard with charts and everything. And the content of this website can be updated through GraphCMS, which is a headless CMS. This was my biggest project so far, so I added it in my portfolio. And then for my next project, I wanted to create something simpler yet technically challenging for me, something that I had not done before. So I wanted to use Sanity, which was a bit more technical. And I created a simple web page for a restaurant, which could be updated through Sanity, and if they had daily specials, they would just handle that through Sanity. It was a fun project, and after the first one, it felt much easier. The whole process until this point wasn't easy at all. It was filled with anxiety. I spent months feeling stuck. The tutorial hell, the imposter syndrome, constant bugs, and there's nobody to help you. That's the reality of being self-taught developer. I didn't stop. I showed up every day and I treated it like a job before anyone even paid me to do it. Even after all these projects that took literally weeks, months to build, I still had nothing. I had no job prospects. One day I was discussing this with my wife and she suggested that I do a training program. And these training programs are similar to boot camps. I think the difference is that state recognizes them as official training programs. So the companies also recognize the diplomas that we receive from here. It consisted of 3 months of learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I think PHP too, I forget. And 3 months of an unpaid internship, and I knew that unpaid internship was my chance, and it worked. Towards the end of the training program, I had 3 offers already. Today I work as a developer. I build apps, I solve real problems, I ship code that is reviewed by someone more experienced than me most of the time and gets a thumbs up most of the time. I still use some of the stuff that I've learned in digital marketing, which comes in handy when you're building a project all by yourself from scratch. I can take a product from concept to launch, and I taught myself all of it. I always loved learning. I still do it every day. I wake up happy thinking about what am I going to learn that day. So if you're starting from scratch or switching paths like I did, you don't need to wait for permission. Start messy, stay consistent, and you will be surprised how far you can go. Everything is hard in the beginning. You just need to go through that. If this inspired you or helped you in any way, give it a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. I'll be sharing my personal projects and what I've learned as a self-taught developer here. Your path may not be traditional, doesn't mean that it's any less real. Keep going. You got this. Cheers.